There's a moment when you realize you've been carrying too much, too many thoughts, too many opinions, too many people living in your head, rent-free. And the strange part? None of it is actually helping you live your life. It's just weighing you down. So what if I told you the reason you feel stuck is because you care too much about things that don't even matter? You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already racing. What did they think of me yesterday? Why did they say that? What if I mess up today? It doesn't stop. At work, you replay every small mistake. With friends, you overthink every word. On social media, you compare your life to people who aren't even real. And at night, when everything gets quiet, that's when it gets loud inside your head. You think more, you worry more. You feel tired, not physically, but mentally exhausted. And deep down, you know something isn't right. Because life isn't supposed to feel this heavy. Promise. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to control everything. You just need to care less. Not in a careless way, but in a powerful, peaceful way. The kind of not caring that gives you your life back. And once you understand this, everything starts to change. Most people think caring is a good thing, and yes, it is. But only when it's directed at the right things. Because when you care about everything, you end up losing yourself. You start living for reactions, for approval, for validation. And slowly, without even noticing, you stop living for you. There was a guy I knew, smart, kind, hard-working. But he had one problem. He cared too much about what people thought. Every time he spoke, he'd pause, thinking if his words sounded right. Every decision he made was based on how others might judge it. One day, he had a chance, a big one, a new job opportunity, better pay, better life. But he didn't take it. Why? Because he was scared of what people would say. What if I fail? What if they laugh? So he stayed where he was, safe but stuck. And years later, he realized something painful. The people he was trying to impress weren't even thinking about him anymore. Let that sink in. Most people aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are. They're busy with their own problems, their own fears, their own lives. But here you are, living in a prison built by their imagined opinions. And this is where things change. You start asking yourself one simple question. Is this really worth my energy? Because your energy is limited. Every thought, every worry, every stress, it costs you something. So why spend it on things you can't control? There's a quiet power in letting go. Not everything needs a reaction. Not every comment deserves your attention. Not every situation needs you to prove something. Sometimes, the strongest move is to stay silent, to step back, to not care. I remember a small moment, nothing big, just a normal day. Someone made a rude comment. In the past, I would have replayed it all day. I would have felt angry, maybe even responded. But that day, I just let it pass. And something strange happened. Nothing, literally nothing. The world didn't end. My life didn't fall apart. And for the first time, I felt free. That's when it hits you. You've been giving power to things that don't deserve it. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Caring less doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become focused. You stop wasting energy on noise and start investing it in what actually matters. Your growth, your peace, your life. There's another story. A girl constantly checked her phone, waiting for messages, waiting for replies. If someone didn't respond fast, her mood changed. Her whole day depended on it. One day, she decided to try something different. She put her phone away for a few hours. At first, it felt uncomfortable, like she was missing something. But slowly, she started noticing things: the way the sunlight hit the room, the sound of her own breath, the calmness. And for the first time in a long time, she felt present, not waiting, not worrying, just living. Most people are not living, they're reacting to notifications, to opinions, to expectations. But life isn't meant to be a reaction. It's meant to be experienced. And here's where it gets deeper. You don't control everything. You can't control what people say. You can't control how they act. You can't control every outcome. But you can control one thing: your response. And sometimes the best response is no response. But wait, this doesn't mean you stop caring about everything. That's not the point. The real power is choosing what deserves your care. Because once you master that, your life becomes lighter, clearer, stronger. Think about it. Why do small things bother you so much? A comment, a look, a small mistake. It's not the thing itself. It's the meaning you give it. You turn it into something bigger. You attach your identity to it. But what if you didn't? Imagine this. You make a mistake at work. Instead of overthinking it all day, you just fix it and move on. No drama, no stress, just action. Simple. Or someone doesn't like you. Instead of trying to change yourself, you accept it. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. You weren't made for everyone. There's a strange freedom in that. When you stop trying to be liked by everyone, you finally start being yourself. Another moment. A man fails at something important, a business, a goal. At first, it hurts. Of course it does. But instead of staying stuck, he asks himself, what can I learn from this? And then he moves forward. No self-pity, no endless regret, just growth. That's the difference. When you care less about failure, you become more willing to try. And that's how you win. Most people are stuck because they're afraid of judgment, afraid of failure, afraid of not being enough. But those fears only have power because you give them importance. Take that importance away, and they disappear. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need to be at peace with yourself. And peace comes from within, not from likes, not from approval, not from others, from you. There's something powerful about walking into a room and not needing validation, not needing attention, just being there, calm, confident, unshaken. That's what happens when you care less. You become stable, grounded, strong, and people notice that, ironically. When you stop chasing approval, you often get more respect because you're not desperate for it. But even then, you don't chase it because now you understand something deeper. Your worth isn't decided by others. It never was. So you start living differently. You take risks. You speak your truth. You follow your own path, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. Life becomes simpler, lighter, more real. And yes, there will still be challenges. People will still judge. Things will still go wrong. But now, it doesn't control you because you've learned to let go. At the end of the day, you have one life, just one. And it's too short to spend it worrying about things that don't matter, too short to live in fear of opinions, too short to hold on to stress that isn't even yours. So take a breath, step back, and ask yourself, what am I holding on to that I need to let go of? Because the moment you start caring less about the wrong things, you finally have space to care about the right ones, your peace, your growth, your life. And that's where true freedom begins. Not when everything is perfect, but when you're no longer controlled by everything. You're calmer now, stronger, more in control, not because the world changed, but because you did. If this spoke to you, if you felt something while listening, then maybe it's time to start letting go. And if you want more like this, you can stick around. We're just getting started.